Good morning and welcome to America's Home Cooking. What we're making is a modern beef burgundy. Now the first thing we're going to have to do is, wait till you see what I have here. I'll read it to you. I have to be careful with this phone. There, I think that'll hold it. Alright, you need a 4-pound boneless chuck-eyed roast. And what are we, it's a big one. Here it is, this is a lot of meat. This is 4 pounds. How many grams of protein do you think is in this? I'll give you a clue. The thing is that 1 pound would be 125 grams, plus or minus a few. So this is 4 pounds. We're talking 500 pounds of protein, 500 grams of protein. How many people could you feed in this? With this, almost 20 people. Almost 20. And they would get their 20 grams of protein. If you want to just have a really big meal, you could have less. But this is a meal that you could really serve a lot of people too, just to let you know. I had the bone removed out of this. Now they want us to cut this up into 1.5 to 2 inches, 2-inch pieces, which I'll show you. So we're talking to big pieces. You see that? There's 2, there's 1.5. So we're talking about some big pieces of meat. So if we measure it out, you can see they're going to be big chunks. This is a slicer. You see the difference in the knife and the way it looks? These are slicers. You'll see butchers with these, but they have much bigger ones. So this should go for a good set of meals in my house. Knowing my sons, they're big eaters, they like good food, and when you do good food, that's one of the problems you have. They will, as they used to say, your family could eat you out of house and home. And yes, they used to say that about us. Now, I am going to talk about how you control your weight. First off, when you have babies, you're going to be putting 10 pounds of fat on, you like it or not. That's how it is. You can't stop nature. Nature's going to do what she has to do. Now, in order to get rid of those 10 pounds plus on your body, you have to nurse a baby at least 9 months. And wean them naturally. You see how I'm cutting this? I'm doing the best I can to show you. So they're big pieces like this. You see? Give you my palm. I wear a 7.5 glove. This should give you a good idea of my palm to give you the size you need. So, put all that weight on having children. For every child you don't nurse, you're going to have an extra 10 pounds on your body. Now, a lot of people overeat. They really do. Let's be honest about it. We overeat more than we should. I know as teenagers growing and children, they eat a ton of food. But once you're grown, and I can, if you're doing hard labor, I can see you really packing it away, all right? I can be honest about that. But people eat until they're full. I mean, I shouldn't say full, they actually eat until they're stuffed. When I was growing up, the only really fat people we saw was literally pregnant women. There were 2 there, the baby and her. But other than that, we didn't. But they also didn't eat the amount of food that we eat today. We are gluttons, not thinking about what we eat. We just pack it in and sit around because you eat so much. You get tired because the body has to work to break all that food down. So you sit around and it starts putting weight on. You should only eat to be content. In other words, when the hunger pains go, you could stop. You don't have to continue eating. I'm going to have to split this one in half. This one's not going to work any other way. You don't eat until you're stuffed and belching or anything else. Thanksgiving is a celebration in this country of becoming, free from England. I understand that. But if you notice, when you sit there and overeat during that holiday, you notice how everybody gets really relaxed. But it's also the end of the harvest, so people celebrated the harvest. When you think about when you harvest food and stuff, they've got their pantry packed, and it's like a break and a celebration of food. They have food for the winter. It's going to carry them through. If they don't do it right, they're not going to, and they won't make it. But that's the celebration. Okay, we cut this one like this. That piece wants to fall apart. So that's why there's so much food, because that's the harvest. We did the harvest and all of that. And that's what it's the memory of, as well as, founding of this country. It has like a double edge on the holiday in that aspect. It's celebrating two things: the harvest, the hard work, sitting back and enjoying it. And then after that, you have to sit there and be careful that the food that you have lasts the whole winter. Now this stew can feed a lot of people. Now, I'm talking about that and you say, what's that got to do with weight? If you eat heavy and big like that every day, you're going to be size of a barn door, as they used to say in Texas. But the thing is you don't have to eat that much. You just eat until you're content. You don't always have to have dessert every night, or if you do have a dessert, it doesn't have to be a big piece, it can be a small piece. But the reason people put on the weight is they don't eat much for breakfast. Lunch is skimpy, and when they come in, they pack it in and they go to bed. All that food sits on your stomach, it's not digested, and what it does is it causes heartburn and stuff in time, not right away, but it will in time. And what happens is you get bloated because the food is poison. It's poisoning you, literally. It's rotting in your body. And people, because they've taken a lot of magnesium out of our food, we don't move our bowels as easily as we used to, because it's one of the minerals that does it. And you also notice other things, but that's where the bloatedness, the foul breath you have, this all comes from it. So this is what happens. And people who say, well, I don't eat much, but you go out drinking. A drink and a beer has so many calories, and it's going to do the same thing to you that food sitting in your stomach with. So you don't count the calories there, and you say, I fed my family, but you don't think about the calories that are in that liquor with the sugar and all. People can't go into REM now because they sit there, have so much sugar, it's like they bounce in and out, but they can't get into REM. When you can't get into REM, your heart cannot rest. See, when you go to sleep, the heart is pumping, right? But it slows down. So it's rest time at night. But you sit there and you have a lot of sugar from the drinking at night and everything else, you don't get a good night's rest. And the heart, and you keep doing this year after year after year, you slowly end up with a sleeping disorder, or you end up having a heart attack because the heart can't rest. And if you can't rest the heart, it's going to go. I mean, if you stood and continued working 24 and no rest at all, Tell me how you would feel if you couldn't rest. The same thing happens with your organs. If you don't go in the order and go in harmony with Mother Earth, you're going to find yourself with illness because you fight against it. Heart conditions and everything else. There's nothing you can do except get in harmony with it and learn to live with it. You know that you can't do this. You can't do that. Last meal I'll have, and I don't like eating in the afternoon. I will push myself to 2:30, and that's it. I will not eat again until I get hungry the next day. Now, I ate at 2:30 yesterday afternoon. I am not hungry yet, and I just had a sandwich, some coleslaw, and a dill pickle with a juice that I made. I made a mint orange drink, and that was it. And yet I'm still not hungry. When I get hungry, I'll probably have a muffin or a glass of milk this morning, and that will be it. And that will carry me till it's time to eat. So I don't eat a ton of food. And I'm not saying little ones can do this. No, teenagers, they can't do that, man. They're hungry all the time because they're still growing. But once you grow, you don't have to eat a ton of food. All you have to do is eat until you're content. That's the secret if you want to control your weight. So if you overindulge and want desserts all the time and everything else, sooner or later, it's going to go here. And if you like drinking, you're going to have it here. Now, I'm not going to say when you get older in menopause, women will not develop a belly. We seem to develop a small belly down here because we've had children. But it's not got to be out to here. You see? So remember, if you're not growing, you don't need to eat like you did as a teenager. If you're doing heavy labor, then you should have a big breakfast and a big lunch, and then cut back at the evening so when you wake up, you're hungry for that big breakfast again. You see how it works? But most people will have coffee and sugar and a roll and run, and then at lunch, they'll just snack on a little bit, and then they come home and eat, and then they say, why am I gaining weight? My body's falling apart. You did it. Now, let's get going with this. Okay, I've got this cut up. I've got some more chopping. Give me a minute. I've got to catch up on where I'm at. Okay, they want you to sprinkle all this meat with 1.5 teaspoons of salt. No less. It's 1 teaspoon. I'm going to toss this to put the other half in. Now they want us to set this aside. Okay, we need salt pork. They want 6 ounces. So I've got to cut this. This is 12 ounces, so I'm just going to use half of this. Now, if you have any scraps from your roast that you cut up, you're going to put it on the side. We're going to be using it. Oh, this is going to be fun to cut. freezer. They want it cut into 1/4 inch cubes. Yeah, you can see me struggling. The only way to cut this is when it's frozen. And that's when I cut it. I keep it in the freezer all the time. Frosting it does me no good. Okay, you want it in tiny little pieces. 1/4 inch cubes, they're saying. I doubt if I'll get it that small, but we'll work on it. Set your oven to 500. You also want your racks on the 2 lower levels. They might want this 1/4 inch. This is not going to work. I'm going to do the best I can. I know you're watching me cut this, right? Probably saying this is very boring. Matter of fact, I make a 1/2 gallon of herbal drinks and dried fruit. You've seen me, I've shown some of them. I only put 5 tablespoons in a 1/2 gallon. You don't have to add any more than that, so it's a lot less sugar than what you get in sodas and stuff. And because I don't boil it, I set it overnight in my big 2-quart measuring cup with boiling water over it, and I put a plate over it. I just leave it for the night, strain it the next day and sweeten it. Very easy to do. And you get more nutrition out of that. than you would some other things. Okay? Give me a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, in a roasting pan, the bottom of it, you need 2 tablespoons of butter. You're going to put 2 tablespoons of butter in here. Didn't say melt, did it? No, it just said divided. If you have any beef scraps, you're going to put them in here with the butter. And you're going to place the salt pork in here as well. Okay, this is going to go, I told you to put your 2 racks to the lowest level. This you're going to put on the top one. That's where they want this rack to go. I don't have any beef scraps. He didn't give me the bone or anything. He took it, so I don't have that. As soon as it hits 500, we're going to put that in the oven. Let me get these other stuff. Now I am going to do something I know you guys don't like. I'm not pulling out another cutting board to do what I have to do next. I'm just going to do it right on top of this because it's going in the same pan. Now you want baby bella mushrooms. Now you get the white ones, they have a milder taste. If you get the brown ones, they have more of an earthy taste. I want to carry that earthy taste, so I'm using the brown ones, but you need just about a pound. That's going to take about 20 minutes. All right, so now we're going to get the mushrooms done. Okay, you're gonna need another pan. You need another tablespoon of butter. Now, what we're going to do with these mushrooms, if you have small ones, I'm going to use the same. I don't care how you guys feel. Okay. You can put them in just like this into the pan with the butter. A tablespoon of butter we just put in another pan. Now if you have a larger one, you're going to trim it. I want them just about the same size. Quarter it or half it, depends upon the size. That's about right. This is going to go on the very bottom shelf of your oven. So you can see that we're just moving around things in different places on this, in the oven. Oh, that should be fine. Okay. Now you're going to add 1.5 cups of frozen pearls that have defrosted. Into your mushroom section here as well. This one's a bit big. Must have cut it crooked. If I find some too big, I'll cut them back down. Okay, so you put your onions with that. Don't worry, there's more. And you're going to add and sprinkle a tablespoon of sugar on. I can show you. See, I have them right here. know, this is going to be one heck of a video. There's a lot of steps to this recipe, but God, it sounds so good. How could you sit there and say, no, I'm not going to make it? I was reading it, I said, oh God, this really sounds good. Now, you know what sugar does? Caramelizes, so you know it's really going to work with the butter quite nice. Okay, we're going to put these on the bottom shelf, below the oven. Whoa! Be careful, it pops. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. We're waiting for the bacon fat to get crispy. That's what we're waiting for in brown. And they said that could take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. And the other one they recommend, you're waiting for the mushrooms to evaporate the liquid out of them, and the vegetables are lightly glazed. It will take 15 to 20 minutes. Then we're going to transfer the vegetables to a large bowl. So we have some time so I can clean up where I was working. Okay, you need 2 carrots. I already peeled mine. They want them 2 inches. Well, if it's not 2 inches, I'm close enough to it. They want 2 onions, coarsely chopped. Over onions. Oh God. Come on, onion peel. Oh, you've already changed, so we're going to have to take you off too. Where's my pot holders? So I can't keep track of anything. We're just waiting for the water to come out of the mushrooms and the onions. It looks like they've already done that. And this is already done too. Drop it down to 325. Okay, I gotta get this onion done before we can go much further. I've got everything set up. Okay, you're not going to believe what we're doing next. This is exactly what you're going to do. You want a whole head of garlic, just like this. I'm just taking the outer coating off. Okay. Let's see if I can cut that. So when they say a head of garlic, they mean the whole thing here. You want me to separate each one of these things? Okay. Okay. Probably looking at me. I don't want to use this one. It's got mold on it. I'm sorry. I don't know what's on the skin or what. I'm going to be thankful I'm being methodic about this one. Oh, the floor is clean. I cleaned it. I should know. Okay, you're going to have to watch this. You're not going to believe me. That's one. That's two. That's three. That's exactly what you want you to do. They don't want you to take the covering off or anything. That's why I read it 4 times. I didn't believe what I was reading, but that's what they want. So leave them there. Into the salt pork and butter pan, you are going to add 1/3 of a cup of, they say all-purpose, but I am going to use a wheat. Okay, where's my spoon? I want you to stir this around. You're actually making a roux without putting it on the stove, but in the pan. I have to turn you, but you're not going to be able to see everything I'm doing because there's too much here on this counter. But just to give you an idea of what's going on before I knock you over again. That other pan I had was not deep enough for what they want. I don't even know. This one's going to be deep enough. Okay, we got that. Now we go. Alright, you're going to put the vegetables the mushrooms and pearl onions into the refrigerator for 30 minutes. I guess they got to cool down from being overheated. So that's what we're going to do. You can see there's a lot of steps to this dish. So just get them in the refrigerator. Put a lid on them. Okay, you're going to leave them for 30 minutes there. Yeah, we're still here. They want 2 cups of beef broth. I have beef bone broth here, so I'll use it. Well, not quite enough. I'm going to add some chicken to it. I don't care. Like I told you, I mix everything up in mine. I want you to add it to this. This is going to be packed. Now, I don't have anything deeper than this. So, I'm going to have to be very careful. 2 cups of wine, gelatin, 2 cups of wine. You need a red wine, 2 cups. I'm not going to tell you to get the most expensive. That doesn't even make sense. I'm not one to do that for cooking. But if you wish to buy one of the most expensive wines, you can. This is getting really tall. bit concerned about this. I mean, that's teaspoons of unflavored gelatin. This is beef gelatin I bought. Thickening agent, thank God. We need 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. You know, they never tell you how deep to have your dish. You sort of leave that one little bit of information out. And you need a teaspoon of anchovy paste. I had to go to Western Beef to find this because the other stores did not have it. But I'm sure you can order it on Amazon if you're in America. In another country, I don't know if they sell it. I think I'm running out of this. I'm going to have to go to Western Beef and pick up another one. Now what do you want me to do? Okay, they want us to combine this thoroughly, just like this. So, gelatin and all should make this gravy nice and thick. I'm just afraid when I start putting everything in this, so make sure you mix it thoroughly. This is a 9 by 13 I'm doing, and I don't know if it's going to spill over or what it's going to do. So I'm sort of lost at this point. And this is the biggest pot I have for what they want me to do. Alright, now what do you want me to do? Okay. Now they want us to add. I'm telling you, this thing is high. I might have to put it in something else. I just don't know. I just keep looking at it. Add the garlic, just like that. I'm sorry, that's exactly how they want it done. Alright, now what do you want? Bay leaves? Okay, we can do that. It doesn't take up too much room. just 2 whole bay leaves, okay. They want half a teaspoon of black peppercorns. I'm sorry I'm running back and forth. A half an ounce of dry porcini mushrooms. They want these mushrooms dried. This is going to absorb all this fluid. This is why they're having us do it this way. This is 1 ounce and they want half an ounce, so they want half of this. You want them cut up or anything? No, they just want them rinsed. That's about half an ounce, I think. This will help give a smoky flavor to it. You can smell it, you know. They want me to put beef on top of this. You see how close I am to the rim on this thing? Parsley sprigs, you want 10 of those? Well, I don't have fresh thyme, so we're in trouble there. They do want 10 sprigs of parsley. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think I have to put anything else in there. I think I'm going to screw it. It's just not around. Now I'm going to put thyme in here first. If you have fresh, they want, how many of these? They want 6 sprigs, okay? So I'm going to start estimate with this. If you don't, you're going to have to put some thyme in here. I'm going to have to admit, it does look like a garden. Oh my goodness gracious. Now they want us to put the meat in here. And this is 4 pounds. See what I'm talking about? I don't know. I gotta leave a pan on the bottom to catch the juices of this thing. Does that do it? No, this one might have to do it. Anyway, the pan's going underneath it. Do you have any more that you want me to do this? I'm going to strain. And add water? No. They say to add water on top of this. I'm sorry. It's not going to work. See, like I told you, this could feed a lot of people. Snug it in ain't getting snug in anyway. This is what you call overpacking. I don't have anything big enough to put anything. I have to put it in this pan. You don't want the meat covered, okay? So it's evident the way it's got to cook. It's going to have to cook like this. They should give me a pan size to know. You're not going to cover it. You're not going to do anything else. You're going to put it in just like this and pray to God it does not overflow. So a 9 by 13, you need something bigger than a 9 by 13. I do not have anything bigger than a 9 by 13. Okay. With all that gelatin, it should gel and thicken up as the broth comes in. I'm going to clean this and put it under because I don't want it to mess in the oven. But they said this thing has got to cook for, they said to add water, but I have no room to add water to this. But here's what it reads, and if you have a bigger pan, you can continue. I'm doing the best that I can. Add water as needed to come up 3/4 side up of beef. Beef should not be submerged. Return roasting pan to oven and cook until meat is tender, 3 to 3.5 hours, stirring after 1.5 hours, and adding water to keep meat at least half submerged. Yeah, right. Okay, so that's what they want. After it's done cooking, we've got another set we have to go through, but right now, we got that going. What do you want me to do with the vegetables that are in the up? Okay. Well, leave your vegetables in the refrigerator. We'll get to them after. But it's going to be 3.5 hours before you see me again, so I'm going to make a part 2 on this because I have other things I have to do. So listen, I'll see you in part 2.